Hey there, everybody. My name is Eric, and I'm the founder of Supportive Venture, the expat outsourcing company. And, well, you are on the page which has you apply to work with us. Basically, how it works is we are a staffing agency slash outsourcing company for a variety of IT support companies around the world, in the English speaking world predominantly. That means that there are companies in cities like New York, Los Angeles, Toronto, London, and places like that who are interested in hiring remote staff through us. They might never have tried it before, or they might be a client of ours already, or they might have tried outsourcing and hiring remote staff to some country and they were not happy with it. So basically, we are an agency that takes great pride in our results of finding the right people and implementing them into a remote working structure that works actually and makes it work for the companies, and we also help them make the best environment for remote workers. And so this application form is to collect some basic information about you, where you're at, what your experience in the industry is. Not that it's actually necessary to have experience in the industry, but basically it definitely helps. But if you're like an enthusiast, you've been putting together your whole life. You've been putting together computers and sort of do-it-yourself sort of projects. Then this job might be for you, because the ability to learn fast is actually where the premium is in this environment, and the ability to apply solutions based on instantaneous research. Like, for example, you might be asked to troubleshoot a piece of software you've never heard of before, and because you have the right logic and intuition, you can do that effectively. Whereas somebody who has 10 years experience in the IT industry might not even be able to do that, because their experience was in a very proceduralized sort of following orders, yes sir type of environment. So we're looking for people who are good at figuring things out, full stop. And basically, we also do look for experience, of course, because sometimes our clients require, you know, specific skill sets and experience. And but we also have what's called entry level, where you don't need experience. So don't sweat it if you don't have experience, but we will actually test your ability to gain experience and provide results based on things that we give you, problems that we give you to actually solve. And those who can actually prove that they can solve those problems will actually go far in this industry, and we are happy to vouch for you if we believe that you are that person. You also have to speak excellent English. So a lot of us are from the English speaking world. I grew up in Canada, and we don't actually say that if English is not your first language, don't apply, because there's lots of people who have it as a second language who actually speak better than people who have it as a first language. So we just need you to be able to actually sit down and have a conversation on video chat that actually has a flow, so that native English speakers are not alienated by any lack of communication. And this also includes a certain cultural mentality of clear and direct communication, rather than trying to make things seem a certain way. In this industry, it thrives on direct communication and explaining things in terms that people can understand. So what I would emphasize is that you should be professional in the way that you speak, or professional enough in the way that the words that you use. But you should also be able to communicate casually in certain situations. So if you get to an interview with us, we want to actually feel like you're the sort of person we would like to sit down with for a meal, and not somebody who's just communicating on a very formal way. I mean, when we receive dear sir or madam emails, it's almost always off-putting, because we know that the people who we want to hire actually would say greetings or hi there, my name is, whatever it is. But yeah, so too much formality is a red flag in this, and too much casual sort of speech is a red flag in this too. We like that nice middle ground, which is actually in countries like the UK and US and Australia and Canada, the norm is to not use words like sir, hello sir, and be too much like a, you know, whatever that means. But it's more like to casually communicate in a professional context. and to build rapport with clients and stuff like that. So we like to see that. And based on your technical experience and customer service experience, you may or may not get the interview, and based on how well you write the answers to the questions. So we would like it to be that you put a good amount of effort in proofreading what you're writing in this form to make sure that it's correct English grammar and that it represents what you really want to communicate. Otherwise, we might disqualify you because it would be evident that you don't speak the language enough to communicate to the standard that we need to hire for this job, which is IT support, which is a very social and people-oriented role where you're essentially the bridge between people and their technology. So with that being said, do tell us where you found out about us. Do tell us why you think you're a good fit for our organization. I think you can watch the videos on our YouTube channel, Support Adventure on YouTube, and see what our culture is, and try to emphasize which values you share with us. Try to tell us your story as a character in this world. You know, how you ended up in Thailand, how you ended up in Serbia, how you ended up in Colombia. You know, these are all places that I spend a lot of time and I love. And this business started because I wanted to live in these types of places, and I wanted to be able to travel and experience all sorts of cultural richness while I was working online in my native English language. So basically, we want to see people sharing those values. So the more we feel that, the more likely we're going to take your application and bring it to the next stage. And what does the next stage look like? Well, sometimes it's a in-person video interview with one of our staff, or sometimes it would be actually a video recorded interview where you will record your own interview where we give you some technical questions. And this is so that we can see if you can handle the basic requirements of the technical part of the job, or if we need to actually send you to our training program so you can teach yourself that stuff. It's not a make or break, the video interview, but we just want to see how you present yourself on camera. And by the way, if you get to this stage, get a good headset like this. Make sure you have good lighting in the camera, at least as good as what I have now. And basically just make sure you're presenting yourself well. And then you'll tell us what you know technically and how you will, more importantly, present that in, for example, a phone call to a user. That will be evident from the videos that you record. So after that, we have a live technical test where you log on to a virtual machine and you solve some problems that we've laid out, and you would be expected to write notes on how you solve them. And we judge your success based on the notes that we see rather than actually seeing what you did to the box. Yeah, notes are everything, because if you're remote working, then notes are essentially all anybody's going to see of your work if you're doing a good job. And if someone complains about you, then having good notes will actually make it easier for you to emphasize that you took the right course of action in any given situation. So that's it, folks. I look forward to receiving your applications, and thank you for your interest in my company, and hopefully we can make it work for you. And obviously we have a lot more applicants than we have positions, and the hard part is finding open positions and companies that are open-minded to having people work remotely. So there's a lot of trust to be built here between you and us, and then between us and the client companies, and then between you and the client companies in the end when you start working. So let's start this process. I look forward to seeing what you submit. Thanks a lot. Bye now.